Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Elizabeth A. Corshu. I am the founder and CEO of Nurse Exec Innovations, a resilience, leadership, coaching, as well as global health consulting firm. I am also the new authoress of the book titled Vision, as well as the curator of this podcast since 2019 titled Pass the Mic. Some of you are probably saying, what is Pass the Mic? Who's Pass the Mic? Well, Pass the Mic is a platform established for visionaries, game changers, advocates looking to execute their global footprint in society in the areas of healthcare, business, education, technology, culture, fashion, and so much more. Today, I am delighted and honored to have a special guest. I had the pleasure of meeting this special guest down in DC earlier this year, back in February, February is known as Women's Heart Month. And she also happens to be a Women Heart champion like myself. So I had to invite this special guest who comes and hails all the way from New Orleans to on this podcast because this is Women's History Month. Today is March 26th, and the series is titled Empower Her Series. So I'm going to bring on the special guest. Her name is Essence Harris Banks. She's also not only a Woman Heart champion, she's also my soror of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, hails from New Orleans. So if she can kind of give us an intro, a brief one about who Essence Harris Banks is as a woman. I pass the virtual mic over to you.
Thank you, and I accept. Everyone, hello, hello. I must say first, thank you, Elizabeth, for having me on. It is such an honor and a pleasure for you to think of me and to have me as one of your speakers. I am Essence Harris Banks, and I am a mother of two boys. Right? I always like to start with that. I have a 23-year-old and a 10-year-old, so you know I'm very busy. Right? I am a native of New Orleans, and I am a wife, a daughter. I take care of my mother, which is my pride, to do that. And so I am loving everything about this month, which it is all about women's history, right? And so I think for me, you know, the biggest part about who I am, as I'm going to say, as a thriving woman with heart disease, really focused on empowering women and just loving life, very energetic, very involved in my community, you know, give back, love God, and just so really excited for the work that you're doing, right? Your book is amazing. So I had the opportunity to purchase that in DC as well. And just really, you know, congratulate all the women and the co-authors on everything that they've done. Yes, thus far. Awesome job. Kudos. And so I will say a little
Well,
bit.
thank you so much for that brief intro. So if you can kind of go ahead. Uh-huh.
Oh, it was a little delay, but yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you there?
Okay, I'm here. Yes. Okay, so
Okay.
your question?
You're there? I
Yeah.
just wanted to ask you to kind of share with the audience, you know, what other types of things do you do in your community?
So, as a woman heart champion And as a heart disease thriver here in New Orleans, I'm just really excited about the work that we are doing around women's heart health and with our girls. So I started a nonprofit organization. It's called Heart in Hands, to educate girls 10 through 18 about heart health and heart disease prevention. Because I do believe working with our young girls at an early age will obviously help fight the number one killer of women. And that's what really it's all about. You know, we know 80% of heart disease is preventable. And so my goal is to reach as many young girls, right? Because they are going to be the next boss, right, of their families, the caregivers. And so, you know, my goal is to go out in communities in New Orleans, and we're expanding to other cities. So that's super exciting for Heart in Hands. But, you know, I really started the organization 10 years into being a heart disease survivor. And I thought, wow, what could I do to get ahead of heart disease? And it really was for me to focus on the young girls. And the girls are really empowered. You know, we really promote heart health through nutrition, exercise, healthy lifestyle choices, and we really just have a lot of fun with them. That's the best part of it. You know, is seeing their smiles, seeing their faces when they learn something new about how they can love their heart. So we've implemented all these great programs to show them how to love their hearts every day. And the goal is obviously to bring it home to their families to create generational health. And that is our mission, is generational health in our communities to fight this number one killer of women. So that's kind of what I do, and I have a lot of fun doing it.
Wow, I love that. I love that. That is really an amazing concept. So you're dealing with all levels of generations in the entire community. So you're basically stopping, like you said, you're getting ahead of heart. Leaned into my next question. So the question I have is, how do you empower Essence yourself? Because you know you have to pour into yourself first before you pour into others. So how do you empower Essence Harris Banks, and then how do you empower other women in your community, in your household, your mother, your sister? Well, you said you're an only child, so whomever, whatever other female, how do you empower others?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. You know, it has to start with me. So I have to practice what I preach. So if I'm in the community talking about take care of our heart health, take time for self-care and reflection, you know, I have to do the same thing. And, you know, 20 years ago, so I can't believe yet, 20 years as a heart disease survivor, just like you know, I had to like really reflect years ago about those things that were like in my way, those things that were toxic, that didn't serve me well. And, you know, I just said I have to remove those things so that I can be a better person to educate and give back to my community. Because if, you know, they're going to look to me, especially these young girls. You know, last week we were with 100 and almost 30 girls, third, fourth, and fifth grade girls. And they're looking up to me, asking me these questions about what do I do for self-care, exercise, you know, what's my diet, you know, do I eat fast food, you know? So they're asking me a lot of these questions. And so I really, you know, take time to meditate, right? I really have, you know, focused on quiet time and doing things that's really important to me. Being so busy in the community, right? Serve on several boards, focused on philanthropy and all kinds of fun stuff. But at the end of the day, it has to be about me first, because I can't be a great mother, a great daughter, a great wife. I can't be any of those things if I'm not really focused on myself. So that is what I bring to the community, right? Again, leading by example, practicing what I preach, and just showing people that, you know, especially around heart disease and heart health, we lead everything with our heart. If you think about it, you know, I was talking to these girls last week. You can see I'm just so passionate about it, is that everything you do starts with the heart.
Yeah.
So you presentation, you need your heart to
Mhm.
get you to build the courage. You know, if you're doing anything, starting something new, a new project, you're gonna start running, you're gonna start going to the gym. It starts with the heart and the head, right? Not necessarily can I lift the weight, can I run a 5K? It's like, do I have the heart to get out there and do it? So that's what I do in the community, is just empower, young
Mhm.
girls, women, and generations to just do it, right? And listen to your heart. It won't steer you
Yeah.
wrong ever.
Yes. Wow. Wow. That is that's amazing. That is kudos to you. As you were talking, I was I was like, I could see all the wonderful work that you. I mean, I'm not there physically, but as you're talking, I could see all of what you're doing offline. I have to have a chat with you. I'm having an idea for something, but we'll talk about it another later. I'm like, wow, this is great. You got to be all in it, your heart. And I'm like, oh, okay. Essence, kudos to you, Soar. It's wonderful. Congratulations to you and your executive board at Hearts and Hand. No, really, I don't know if you saw me. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah, you
yeah, yeah. In regards to right,
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So the next question I have is about God and faith. What does that look in essence life? God and faith. Like I tell people all the time, some people treat God like it's an accessory. Like I have a I have had crisis. I'm gonna call on God and I'm gonna put God on me. And I'm done with the crisis. I take God off me and I don't, I don't deal with God again. But then when the crisis come back, I deal with God again. I put the headphones on. It's like God is an accessory. It's like God is not a daily, even though it's said in one of the prayers, a daily bread. Some people don't treat him as that, as such. So what does God look like in your daily life? Because we had, quiet as it's kept, people don't know the conversation we had in DC, but I'll never forget you telling me where you were at a particular point in time in your career and how I'm sorry I put you out there, but I'm not going to mention all of it, but
That's all
I
right.
do have to mention. No, no, but I
Yeah.
do have to mention what you said to me, because that was a whole word. That's a whole nother pass the mic. Okay. When Essence Harris Banks told me about her situation at one point in the workforce, prior to her launching into her executive level stance with her brand heart and hands, she told me about what God looked like in her life. And she also told me she knew she had to come up with an exit strategy. So I kind of know the answer, but I'm going to ask the question, especially for those that are watching. What does God and faith, what does God and faith look like in Essence Harris Banks' life?
So, girl, it is like an everyday thing. I wake up with the armor on and I go to bed with it. It is surrounding me. And so with that example, that we shared in DC about the exit strategy, and we know what all that means, it's because God is always at the center of what I do, right? It's knowing right from wrong. It's, tolerating things when we shouldn't. He's always there in my ear saying, okay, Now, he's whispering, like my mom always says, he whispers to you first, and then he starts getting louder and louder if you don't obey. And so for me, with that example, I'm going to use that example because he's constantly with me. And I knew all along he was there saying, this is not right. You don't belong here. You're bigger than this. You're greater than this. And so I'm always listening and I'm always obedient, right? I know sometimes, we all have struggles and, nobody's perfect. But, I feel like if I keep the listening ear at all times, he will never steer me wrong, right? So I stepped out on faith. I took a big leap. And, my generation, your generation, right? We were raised, you don't leave a job without a job. But when you know your God, you know when it's time to make a move. You know when it's not going to serve you well because maybe the end result is not going to, benefit you. So it's either you get out now, and that's with anything. You either get out now or you'll pay later. And so, I really keep him with me all the time because I have to stay like tuned in, and just listen to the spirit. And I believe that, my son is 23 and I teach him the same thing, like discernment. Like you will know when something is just not right. And because it's God telling you, you need to move, you need to get out the way, it's danger, whatever the situation is. I've always, kind of lived by that. And sometimes, I might go against it. I might say, oh, no, God, let me see what's going to happen. Or let me try this out another way. And then, eventually, he's always right. He's like, see, I told you don't go there, So I have conversations with him all day long because I know I can't do anything without his direction. Like even with Heart and Hands, I'm in this place with Heart and Hands where I'm trying to build the organization. It's 10 years and I feel like I'm starting from the foundation again. But that's because I made some shifts, in my life and I'm, listening to him. And I just, even when I wake up, I'm like, I know you have something big. I'm just going to keep moving forward and I'm going to keep following you and your word. And I know it's going to work out. And then in the end, it always does, So yeah, I just look, I'm getting the goosebumps just talking about it because that's just how I live. You know what I mean?
Wow. Wow. So tell us about Essence talents and gifts. What does that look like for how do you know when you were blessed with a particular talent and gift? Did someone tell you? Did you know from a little girl? Did you wake up one day and, some people say, oh, I had an epiphany. I just woke up one day and just knew I was good at this. How did you know that you were given a specific, we all have gifts, even if some of us don't know what they are. Eventually, we're going to figure it out and find out, or somebody may tell us, you know what, you're really good at this or that. What is it about Essence that is unique to you and you do it and like there's a song and you do it well? Like what is it? What is it about you?
So, I thought about this and I said, it's being a connector. And I know it's like, what do you mean connector? But I think at an early age, right, I was always the one in school that was like putting some stuff together, starting a cheerleading team, like when we were in 3rd or 4th grade, because there was none at my little school, or, seeing someone being bullied or not, people not playing with somebody, I would go get the person and bring them in a circle and get them involved. And I guess back then I didn't really know what it was, but my mom used to say that I was like, always helping the underdog, if you will, right? Or I was always trying to like come up with something and she was always involved somehow because of course I needed her to help. But as I got older, I realized people started to come to me for different things, like as a resource. Oh, how do I do this? How do I apply for that? What do I need for this? And, in my adult life, I realized that's a gift. Being able to connect, build bridges, network. There's like just a skill set that I have and that I actually do cherish. I cherish the relationships I have that I've built with people, out of like honesty and, all those, good, solid, like foundation. You know what I mean? I don't give it away to everybody, but, I know I have that gift and I can like get stuff done. I just can like get in there and get it done. I'll do the work. I'm a hard worker. So it makes that whole connection easier because I am like a go-getter and I am going to bring the team together. I'm going to persuade them this is what they want to do, So I think that's a big, big talent and skill set of mine.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing. And my final question to you is, we all survived this pandemic. Now it's time to thrive. Now it's time to pivot, to do things differently, to really, we had a full to reflect and stand still. In the I mentioned how at that time when I wrote the book in 2020, 6.2 million people had lost their lives, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot more now that have lost their lives to COVID-19 and other complications. But the thing is, we all had an opportunity to reflect and do things differently. So what do you value about your life, and what do you desire to do differently since the global pandemic?
Yeah, I think since the pandemic, it really taught me more about family and being close to family. Because in the busyness of the day, the work and the school and all the activities and all of the, checklist of things that we have to do every day, sometimes we get lost in like just sitting with family and just being one and breaking bread, at the table. And, my house is like the central location for all family and friends to come together and just congregate and just be who they are. So, after COVID, I just started reconnecting with a lot of my family members. So, we just get together and now we put it on the calendar, every month we're going to get together and we're going to do something. We're going to see each other, not just at a holiday or a wedding, or a funeral, right? I try to do that because family to me is so important, right? And, during the pandemic, I learned that because we were just stuck in a house together. And of course, with heart disease, I wasn't going anywhere. So our family became close, like my immediate family became very close. And then I started saying, well, wait, let me reach out to my other family members and just reconnect. So I started doing those things differently, like really connecting with my loved ones and, staying close with them and spending time with them. Because again, you just mentioned that number of how many people we lost, and I lost family members and coworkers and, people that were very important to me. And so it just made me realize you need to just take a step back, like work and everything is going to be there. Right. But our family, and keeping our health, intact is more important.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I took away from COVID. And we still do it. This Saturday, I had family over and then we set the date for next month. So we're going to keep this train rolling as long as everybody wants to keep coming over and having a good time,
That's yes, that's wonderful. So how do the audience, how will they get in touch with if they would like any of your services or get in touch to establish a local chapter of Heart and Hands in their community or whatever the case may be? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can visit our website first, which is a one-stop shop. It has all the information there. It's www.heart, the letter N, holdinghands.org. You can visit our website. We're on all the social media platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all that fun stuff. And then you can also email us at info@heartinhands.org for more information. But our website has information about if you would like to start a chapter in your city, if you would like to donate, if you're in New Orleans or in the surrounding area and you want to volunteer with us, there's a spot there for you. If you want to donate, we do have a new merch store that was just launched this week. If you want to buy merch and support us, wearing your swag, that's great too. But yeah, lots of ways you can reach out, directly to us. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, time for taking your time out of your busy schedule. I just want to close out the series this evening. I like Women's Heart quote. So the quote today is by Margie Pierce poet. The quote is, "A strong woman is a woman determined to do something others are determined not to be done." So you determine, sister, and you continue with that determination, hoping you will be with continued success for many, many decades and more. So thank you so much. Take care. God bless. See you soon. Signing off. Take care.